4 spreadsheets. The 4 SA participants spreadsheet contains the names of the participants who won medals. Open the 4 SA spreadsheets and work in the Sheet 1 worksheet. First wants us to rename Sheet 1 to SA. So I can either double click over here, select Sheet 1 so I can change it, or if I right click I can click on rename. So we key in SA, and then the second question asks us to change the tab color to any color of our choice. So I'm going to right click, go to tab color, and pick a color of my choice. As you can see, it's now green. The next question asks us to work in scores worksheet. So that is where we are now. Set the print area to cells A1 and I-53 and ensure that the printing page order is down then over. So in order to do that, we're going to go to page layout and go here to the page setup dialog button. Now over here we're going to go to sheet, and at the top it says print area. So we can just type in here A1 and I-53, or instead of typing you could also click on this little arrow to minimize the screen and select the range with your mouse. Either way works. Okay, now over here where it says page order, the question says it must be in the order down then over. So over here, down then over, it's the first radio button. I click on that and I say okay, make sure you do not print. Now it says insert a formula in cell E6 to determine the current age of Alan Hathaway. Use the date of birth in column D. Only the completed years must be displayed, and the formula should work for any year. So what they're saying is they don't want to see an age that says 50.48. They want to just see 50. And then when they say here that it must work for any year, means that it can't have this year's date in it. It needs to be a function that pulls on the date, and it doesn't matter what year we open the spreadsheet in, it will always be able to calculate that individual's age. So let's start off by typing equals and opening up a bracket, and I'm going to type in the function today. So that brings today's date. Remember, it's going to pull the date that is on your computer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say minus, and we're going to click on their date of birth, and I'm going to close the bracket, and I'm going to push enter to show you the result. So this here says 16,245. Now that is a lot of years to be alive. It's not the years. This is the number of days that this person is alive for. So in order to get this to years, we need to divide by 365.25. Now the reason we say 25 here is because of a leap year. Now every 4 years we have a leap year, and what that means is we have an extra day in February. So we divide that by 4 and we get a quarter, which is 0.25. So now we're saying today minus their date of birth. That gives us the amount of days divided by 365 will give us the year. We push enter to show you. So there we can see that this individual is 44.48 years old. Now the question doesn't want this 0.48. Now merely going to this formatting button and taking away the decimals is not going to help us. We still have those numbers there. Those numbers need to be set to 0. So in order to do that, we need to do that in the function or the formula. And so what we're going to do is use a function called round down. We're going to open the bracket, and then at the end here we're going to say 0. Now the reason we say 0 is because we want it to round down to the whole number. So it's going to drop the decimal number and just leave the whole number. So push enter, and there we got 44. As you can see, it's gotten clear of the decimal numbers. Now what you can do is go here and just get rid of that in the formatting. Alright, now it says insert a function in cell L4, here we go, L4, to display the most frequent position achieved in the competition. So the most frequent position is the position that shows up the most. So what we need to do here is use a function called mode. So I type in mode, open up my brackets, I go to the range where it says position, and I'm going to select the full range. So now the computer is going to go and look to see, out of all these positions, which one is the one that is most frequently seen, and that is position 2. Now, question 4.6 says, insert a function in L6 to determine how many times Carl Lacoste has obtained first position. So over here, we're going to say equals. Now, if we do count if, it will only count how many times you see Carl Lacoste. Now, we need to do a count if for him, as well as then the position. So we've got more than one criteria. So the function we use is count ifs, more than one. Now you'll see it says criteria range 1, criteria 1, and then as we go on, it will say criteria range 2, criteria 2, and if there were more criteria, it keeps going until we're done. So the first criteria range, we're going to look here for the name. So select the range where the names are going to appear. Alright, once we've done that, we are going to type in individual's name that we're looking for, and here it is here. So it is quotation mark, Carl, and quotation marks to close it off. Okay, the next part now is, as you can see here, criteria range 2. So the second range that we're going to look for is in the position. And the criteria we're trying to find here is 1. Now we can type in just a 1 because it's numerical, it's not a string. Or if you prefer, you can put in your quotation marks. Now that we're done, you see it says here criteria range 3, but there is no other criteria, so we can close off the brackets and push enter. And as we scroll the formula, you can see that he has won 2 first places. So by looking at the sheet here, here is his names. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 events that he's won, but out of those, only 2 are first place. Question 4.7 says, insert a function in cell L8 to determine the second highest amount that an athlete should be paid. Second highest. Now we know that the highest we would use a function called max. Unfortunately, we can't use that now, but we can, however, use one called large. So we're going to type in large. The range or the array we're looking for is the amount. Once we've selected that range, we then are going to, over here, type in 2 for second highest. And there the amount is 50,000. Now the last question asks us to work in the medals worksheet. So let's get to medals. And inside medals worksheet it says, use the subtotal feature to display the number of medals per sport. Now, because it's per sport, we need to sort the sport, this data according to sport. But as you can see, it's already been done for us. So this is making it easier for us. We are now going to select the data. Once you've selected the data, we need to go into the tab called Data, and right at the end, over here, we've got Subtotal. Now, under Subtotal, at each change in, the question says Sport. Use function, we're not going to sum, we want to count how many medals there are, and we want it to subtotal under Medal. You click on OK, and you'll see what happens. It says lawn bowls count, 12, so there's 12 medals, and as you scroll through, you can see at the end of each sport, athletics count, there's 17, and cycling, there's 2, and so forth. So that was for 22 marks. Question 4 is done. Make sure you save. Well done.